All pirates, yes, they rob I, sold I to the merchant ships. Minutes after they took I from the bottomless pit. But my hand was made strong by the hand of the Almighty. We forward in this generation triumphantly. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom?
Is to be seen.
There are
Teachers who don't see her, teaching her falsehoods about Black people and Black history. The black or white choice she's pressured to make whenever she leaves her house, although she is proudly both. For myself, it's being closely followed and watched in stores, being harassed and condescended to time and time again in all areas of town life, not knowing what to feel when Confederate flags are flown. I've lived in Georgina for 13 years. My family and I can speak to the blatant and subtle racism that does exist here. But we can also speak to the true kindness and allyship that also exists here. The teacher who spoke to her class about racism and protection of my son, the principal who listened to me about the school to prison pipeline and why my son would not be suspended on a whim, the parent who intervened on the school bus when teachers didn't, neighbors who embrace and support my daughter and are as proud of her as I am, and because they've been there with me watching her develop into this exceptional young woman. Those who have given me rides and sat with me and showed up for me in my darkest times. Allyship and true kindness exists here in Georgina. The raising of the Pan-African flag in Georgina means a lot to me. It signifies a wider change in attitude. It recognizes my presence as a part of this community. It recognizes the history of people like me. It tells the truth. It gives a moment of cultural justice. If we keep growing and expanding in love and compassion for all, there will naturally develop a collective inclusiveness. After all we've been through and continue to go through, after all that was taken and continued to be taken, after all that was lost, never to be found again, this flag, the Pan-African flag, is a small reclaiming for us, for Black people, the world wide.
They're all I ever had, redemption songs. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy. See, none of them can stop the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Some will say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book. But won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? They're all I ever had, redemption songs, songs of freedom. I welcome.
Right on.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Let's welcome Brother Negus with our drum call to order. Public health concerns, you know?
Greetings, everyone. First, allow me to recognize the land that we are on, the land of the indigenous people. This land was taken from them. We of the African diaspora were taken from our land. So, we both African people and the indigenous people appreciate Mother Earth. We appreciate our ancestors. People like Dudley Lodge, Harriet Tubman, Rufus Brown, Lincoln Alexander. I say, without them, we would not be here. I stand on their shoulders. Black people, African people, were not slaves. I repeat, for everyone, especially the children, we were not slaves. We were enslaved.
Bada bing.
Slavery is not our history. It's an interruption of our history. We are scientists. We are technicians. We master technology. We are engineers. And we are mathematicians. Yeah, and yes, we are great at sports and entertainment. Just look at yesterday.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2,
1, 2,
3.
3. Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
For the black women here.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Bingo.
To the world. We today celebrate Emancipation Day. It's over 180 years since we've been emancipated. However, thanks to Georgina, thanks to Kendra, thanks to the Georgina Committee, thanks to the town of Markham, thanks to the Black Youth York region, we are on a way not from true emancipation, but to liberation.
Right on.
And I ask every one of us, are you here, race, creed, or color, that you also will not be liberated.
Our next speaker, I met at the Solidarity Walk that I spoke of before. She reached out to me online and said, I see you're putting together a Solidarity Walk in our neighborhood. Would it be okay if I spoke there? And I said, absolutely, come on out and, I'll turn the mic over to you and you can speak. I did not realize until the day in question that I was speaking to a youth. This person is so wise beyond their years, so articulate. I've had the pleasure of meeting her and her family and working with her now on a number of projects. She's become a most valued member of our Black York Region youth group. I'll let her speak for herself and let you, if you haven't been in her presence before, let you see that for yourself. Please welcome Georgina's youth social justice activist. She's spoken on CBC radio. She was an integral part in the renaming of Vaughan Secondary School. Please welcome Georgina's ally, Elena Rennie.
Okay. Thank thank you all so much for having me today and coming out to support this initiative and help to celebrate Emancipation Day in our community. So, like Kendra said, my name is Elena Rennie. I am a youth social justice activist from Keswick. I'm a part of an organization called BYR Youth, Black Youth York Region, as an ally, and we work towards dismantling anti-Black racism in Georgina and York Region and surrounding communities. And I've also participated, I was on CBC Radio where I talked about the renaming of Vaughan Secondary School and the importance of that as I helped to play a role with part of BYR Youth in getting that school renamed.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So when Kendra asked me to speak today, I was really, really honored because not only is the raising of this flag long overdue, but it's also a crucial step into increasing the representation and inclusivity and equity in our community. And I forgot who said it, but someone mentioned the statistics of people who identify as Black or POC in our community. And that's the second largest visible minority group. So they make up a large member of our population, which is why the Pan-African flag, to some of us, you know, it may just seem like just a flag or just a piece of fabric, but it's really not. For many, it really represents governance, family, territory, and is a symbol that unifies diaspora. It's made up of 3 colors, which I believe Lee talked about. So the red represents the blood that unifies all people of Black African ancestry. The black represents the people who exist as a nation. And finally, the green represents the abundant and vibrant natural wealth and land of Africa. When I hear those words, nation and vibrant, I think of a diverse community where all people are welcome, no matter their skin color, sexuality, gender identity, or religion. I also think of a community where everyone is heard and has the right to exist in unison, which is exactly what this flag represents for so many. When this event was first posted to the public through social media, I knew that there would be an overwhelming response of love and positivity, but also in the back of my mind, I knew there would be some who unfortunately did not feel the same way, which is exactly what I was faced with. While explaining the importance of this event to one individual, I was told that I was just speaking activism word jumble and my words were completely dismissed and the importance of this event was completely dismissed. Another comment was made that really upset me and really stuck with me, and I wanted to share it with you today because it represents that although we are raising this flag, our community still has a long way to go when it comes to combating anti-Black racism. One person commented that if people want to see their flag represented so badly, why don't they just go back to their own country?
Oh, come on.
I would like that to sit with you for a minute, because that came from a community member from our community. First of all, I would just like to say that you shouldn't have to go back to your own country to feel like you belong. No matter who you are or how you identify or what you look like, you have the right to exist anywhere in the world. And although those comments are upsetting and I got very heated over them, I just want to say that as I look at all of the people that came out today, that we are far better than those comments. There is so much more positivity in this community, and that all these individuals I see are so inspired, and you all are ready to see real change happen in this community. Through education, support, and understanding, we are all able to take a stand to show the marginalized communities within Georgina that they are not alone. You are not alone. Today is August 1st, Emancipation Day, a day which commemorates the abolition of slavery in Canada and across the British Empire. 183 years ago today, we brought a formal end to what some call the most inhumane institution in the history of humanity. Just because this flag has risen today does not mean that our acknowledgement of this day ends here. Like Mayor Margaret Quirk said, this flag raising is just one of many to come. As an activist myself, I am encouraging you to go home after this event today and do your research into Canada's true history, the history that you weren't taught in schools, the history that your children weren't taught, and have those uncomfortable conversations. I also encourage you to talk with your children and your family about this history and have, like I said, the conversations. I always say, and I believe, that knowledge is power. Knowledge is very powerful, and that you are never too old or too young to help make a change, and it is never too late. The change in this community starts with us. Thank you.
And the youth shall lead them. We're going to pick up the pace a little bit because things are happening. This next young lady is from Georgina, Ontario. She's of me. Please welcome my daughter, Hannah Mullings Tatum.
I was 6 years old when I moved to Georgina. 6 years old and nervous about moving to a brand new school. 6 years old and excited to make new friends. 6 years old and the only Black kid in my entire school. And when I sat by myself on the first day, the teacher said she understood that it's hard to be the new kid. She got it, but she don't get it. My first year in Georgina, my mother had to ask my school to participate in Black History Month. We had to ask for an apathetic presentation on Dr. King. The lead researcher was yours truly. When the teacher saw how passionate I was about MLK's story, he said I was a great student and a hard worker. And they got it, but they don't get it. 4 years later, I'm sitting in my living room, staring at a picture of Trayvon Martin's grayed out face, his young, innocent face. And when I went to school, no one talked about it. No one thought about it. Not a soul even thought about it. And when a teacher asked why I was sad that day, they said they understood that the news could be sad sometimes. They got it, but they don't get it. They got it, but they don't get looking around and knowing you're the only one like you. They got it, but they don't get hearing kids use the N-word on the playground when they know you're listening. They got it, but they don't get that their silence cuts deeper than any slur you spat in my face. They got it, but they don't get being 6 years old in a brand new town, and a man down the street had to have the cops take down a Halloween decoration of a Black man strung up with a Confederate flag. Don't tell me that flags don't matter. You got it, but you don't get it. And after 13 years, Black folks still aren't safe in our hometown. So we raise this flag in defiance of every silence, of every outright hateful act. This is a welcome sign and a rebellion against every system that put us under. This is for every Black child who's afraid of how others will react to their skin. This is for every single person in Georgina, Black or an ally, to celebrate our solidarity. This is for us. And this is for the 6-year-old Black girl at Lake Simcoe Public School who always felt like the only one. Because she got it back then, and she gets it now. Thank you.
My daughter, ladies and gentlemen. And this...
All pirates, yes, they rob I, sold I to the merchant ships. Minutes after they took I from the bottomless pit. But my hand was made strong by the hand of the Almighty. We forward in this generation triumphantly. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom?